Assalamu alaikum. Y'all may be seated. By show of hands, how many visitors do we have here today? Well, I guess it was worth me coming down. Did y'all hear enough about me? I thought today I would speak on salvation. Bill, if I stand in front of this podium, we don't want to offend no one. Like I'm hiding. Thank you all for coming. Those from home that did not show up, tell them I made it. So they should have came also. They had the opportunity. Believe me, I experience this all the time. I'm quite sure you all do also. Whenever you have someone around you that is respected and you respect them, and most of the things that you do or say is always correct, and you can trust a particular individual, after a while you start taking it for granted that it's always going to be of what, you start taking it for granted. And sometimes the very time you do, that's the time you should. That's the time you lose out. No one knows except me. At least I don't think. When the ship is coming. I told you where it's coming, where the place is going to come to, but when it's coming, nobody knows but me. And the conditions that one has to be in or under or go through to make sure that they are insured to board the ship, if you're not with me, you're not going to know. You might say, well, I don't believe that. Belief with me counts for nothing. Everybody does that, believe. That's because they're weak in their thinking. If you think mathematically, ends belief. Is that right? Y'all listen? At the end or near, I'll say a good portion of the delivery from myself, or the floor will be open for you all to ask me questions, especially for those that has not been to any of the meetings, have not seen me, have not spoken with me. You heard a few tapes, you got something on your mind, you may ask me what you have so it can be cleared up. This is a very, very, very important time for each individual that's concerned about your life. And I'm not speaking about the life that you live every day, because that's not living, that's existing. If you're concerned about actually being here long enough to witness the end of unnecessary opposition, then you need to pay very close attention and then respond accordingly. I'm not asking nobody to follow me. And is this not being filmed? Oh, okay. I want to make sure I was in the light. I'm not asking anyone to follow me. I'm not asking you to believe me. I am sharing with you what is. If you have any rhythm to your thoughts, you will find what you're being told from me, what I'm sharing with you, is the truth. And it is not just a truth, it is the truth. I understand today there's quite a few people that may have been here, but however they've gone to hear the reminder of the messenger or the leader of the nation of Islam in various places across the country. They're going to listen today. If I'm not mistaken, I've gotten word this is supposed to be his last lecture, speech, sermon, whatever. I would like for you all to follow me, if you will. It's not going to take long. If you were God, the God, if you, like you put yourself in this, if you were God, And you were responsible for the preservation or the recovery or the salvation of the original people of the planet. What would you do? Would you bring in a system that perpetuated mystery, confusion, uncertainty, no clarification? Would you do that and expect to be successful because you God? If you raised up a man from your own mind, prepared him, and then set him before the people to share with them a message of the time, because that's what was needed at that time. When the messenger was raised up, the black man was asking, how long is this going to go on? How much more time do we have to serve this man the way we are doing now? How long are we still going to be lynched? Are you listening? How long are we going to be disregarded, disrespected, lynched, killed, raped? How long? Naturally, the enemy wasn't going to tell you. So who else could, if no one else knew? According to the Bible, even Daniel was quite excited. How long, Lord? How long? The Lord told him, said, look, you go your way, Daniel. The book is sealed. The time is sealed. You go until I come to break the seal. Are you all following me? We have to admit, those of you that have done any studying or came through the time of the messenger, the man performed his duty perfectly. Now, if you were God, that's what you were to do. Raise the man up to prepare for your arrival. Since you are God, now you're the God, it would be very unwise for you to come to infants and expect for them to respond in a responsible manner. In other words, come to slaves and started teaching the slaves at a free man's knowledge. I remember the messenger was making a statement about a big gorilla that was in Chicago on display, and they had him locked behind a cage, or in a cage with the cage locked. You listening? Because all of this is very, very crucial for you to understand. And just to make sure that the messenger received a point, Master Farad Muhammad, or Allah in his person, carried the messenger to this particular spot and gave the gorilla the greetings of peace. The gorilla went off. He wasn't just an ordinary man walking up and saying, Assalamu alaikum to the gorilla. The gorilla knew this is God. You didn't make me to stay in no cage, and you're going to come and give me the greetings? The hell with you. Think about it. You God. You're God. You God. Now you come after these people. You done raise this man up. He's delivering the message. And the message is that God is a man. and he will be coming shortly after you. However, until that time takes place, I am to represent him and to get you ready for him. Now, there's going to be a period, this was told after a while, after the messenger was here for a few years. After I leave, there's going to be someone to remind you of what I've shared with you, of the message. Because there's going to be a lapse of time between his leaving and my coming. Are you listening? We're still talking about salvation. This time is to allow each person that received the message or lived through that time to come to a decision. Because the time between the messenger's leaving and the actual appearance of Allah himself, many things were to take place, and they did, to bear witness that the message is true. Who is the devil? It was taught. I'll say was because now it should be known. It was taught the devil is the Caucasian, the white man. Matter of fact, the Caucasian got on Elijah for that. Elijah, why are you calling us the devil? Elijah says, well, I didn't call you that. The Lord of the universe called you that. I'm repeating what he said. If you want to do something about it, take it up with him. Now, every one of us should testify to that. There should be no question whatsoever who is the devil. Now, you may say, well, black folks, they do just as much devilishness as white folks. No, you don't. And when you do it, it's just plain dumb. White folks look at us and just laugh, or they're trying to be like us, and we trying to be like them. It's pitiful. It'd be like you see them trying to dance like black folks, no rhythm. And you trying to act like them devilish and messing up, just plain dumb. Sometimes I sit and look at Judge Judy, some of those TV judges. The way I look at it this way. This man that's supposed to be so wise that said he went to the moon, all out in space, building a space station in space. When it comes to people, he has made a whole world of idiots. You look at the judge and the people that come up with the petty things that they come up with. If you were God, would your world be acting that way? Now, if you were God and you raised up a messenger and he performed his duty well and you removed him, however, before you did so, you prepared someone to remind us in the messenger's absence, so you would not have an excuse. Would it be someone that would do just the opposite of what the messenger or the teachings in the message for us that was delivered? Would that be a wise God? Would you be wise doing that? Would it serve you, God, you being God? Would it serve you when you did show up, after you promised this, in the last day you would show up? You're not sneaking up on the people. You already told them. In the last day, I'll be there. When you do show up, the one that is supposed to remind everyone, friend and foe, God and the devil, good and bad, right and wrong, regardless of who you are, of the message. So you would not have an excuse. Would it be wise for that one, or for the God to ordain someone to come, and just before he comes, put a blanket of confusion over the whole process? You, God, is that what you would do? Well, has it happened? I'm listening to some of the current things that's being said and spoke about. What is perplexing to my thinking would be, and is, I shall say, or should say, if this particular individual that we've made rich, according to the book, an army of 10,000 men could not lift his wealth. So everything that he has testifies to us and him that we have treated him royally. However, when it gets to the point that even he knows he can't go no further, then he tells you, this is my last speech. You don't have no homes. You don't have no food. You don't have no sense. You can't stand up for yourself because you have no foundation. Would you do that, God? You God now, so that's what you plan, that's what you're carrying out. Any of you ought to think that way. It's got to be mentally challenged. Or shall I say crazy. Here's a man that everybody knows. I don't know of anyone that does not know the name of Louis Farrakhan. Everybody knows his name. And they know what he was supposed to do. Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam. They know this. Where did he lead them? Let's be white for a couple of minutes. You know, this Farrakhan guy really has the ear of the black man. What shall we do about that? Mike? Well, I think you don't have too much to worry about from him. We don't see anything of substance that he's alluding to, pointing to, going after, developing. Nothing of substance, George. So, I don't like what he's talking about us. Well, don't worry about that. Talk is cheap. You know, we talked about Jesus. Don't worry about it. Let's make sure that we keep him propped up. Well, I don't like the nigger. Why would you want to do that, and how are you going to do it? Well, that's easy, Mike. Let's just keep him in the news. You know, black people, they look at more television than what we do. They got a television in every room, every bedroom. I don't have to worry, and we don't have to worry about them sitting together and discussing it because they're all separated. You remember we did that. But George, you think all the black people is listening to Farrakhan or Farrakhan? Mike, you know there is no other black person doing anything. Martin Luther King is gone. You remember we killed him. So we have nothing to worry about from him. Let him alone. And let the black people think that he has power. Let him speak with the harshest of language, with the utmost authority, while we laugh. And in doing so, he will have put everybody to sleep. All of the black people's attention will be against us until they reach a hopelessness state. After all of this power that they seen coming from him and whatnot, and it produced nothing, where are they going to go then? Well, what is this going to do, Mike? George, this is going to make sure that God is mocked. You know he's going to get it. You know that, don't you? You really know that, don't you, George? Well, yeah, I got a suspicion he's going to do that. Well, wouldn't you want him to be the killer of his own people? That's the best way to mock him. So let's do that. Is that the way you would set it up, God? You God now. That's the way you would set it up. Because white folks is God of what they do. They God. They can make you or break you, except for the ones I make. If I make you, nobody can break you. Nobody. However, you have to allow yourself to be made or developed. You know what the word salvation. The first thing that comes to my mind in the word salvation is salvage. Those of you that have gone to the thrift store, salvaging some things. You go to the junkyard for your car, or your car is a big pile of junk, so you call it salvage people. In other words, there is some use for that particular thing that's being salvaged, even if they have to destroy it as it is and bring it back as something else. Salvation. That is a place. The shun is a place. Where is the salvage place for the black man? And if you find the place, who is the author? Is it just to appear out of the sky? From no place, it's poof. There it is. There's no directions, no instructions, no manual to direct your development or behavior. It just poof. You think that's the way God's going to bring it about? I being God? No, sir. You're pretending to be God? Even no, sir. This is very, very serious. Regardless of what you think of me, if your thoughts are not correct, they're just thoughts. They're just thoughts. That's all. If you have thoughts of me being Allah and you don't believe it, then start to do the necessary research to see if it can be proven, then I commend you. Because it's already stated, seek, and you shall find. Not don't believe it and don't do a damn thing, you're going to find it. You don't read that. It says knock. In other words, it's telling you, you got to do something first. Yes, sir, Brother Royall, I do not believe it. I understand. Now what you going to do? I'm going to search it out. Good. I can go home and sleep good if I sleep. Because if you do the search, you're going to find out I didn't lie. And that's a comfortable feeling. If they say anything about you, say, I don't like him, but he ain't a liar. That's good. That's a good feeling. Tell a man, if you tell a man something, you tell him, it don't make no difference whether he believes it or not. If he searches it and finds that out, like they do in court. Even with that, they say, well, he's innocent until proven guilty. But they lock you up while they're trying to prove it. See? It don't make sense. Now, the Mexicans say you're guilty until proven innocent. So it makes sense to lock you up because you're guilty. Then when they find out you're innocent, oh, let him go. But you're innocent, but they lock you up until they prove that you're innocent. You see, white folks do everything the way God does it. They just do it for a different purpose. Since God was first, God is their example. God went to the right, they went to the left. However, they used the same methods as God developed, because they didn't develop it. God did. So you, God, now your very purpose for even showing up, you could have just said, poof, got rid of everything. They never even knew you existed, just got rid of it and started all over. It's written, the messenger taught it, and I'm repeating it because I taught the messenger. I can actually take white folks off the planet within the 12 hours of this time in such a manner you never know they ever existed. Well, that might be above your thinking ability at this time. Things that sit like that really makes you don't believe. You say, well, no, he done gone too far now. I say a few things like that, people get up and start walking out. Oh, well, I know he's crazy. However, I'm saying, because it is true and I know it, that I actually am that good. I am this free being. So, however, I'm always supposed to refer to you as though you're my little son and we're playing with Tonka toys. So he's pretending, so I got to pretend with him. Is that the way it's supposed to be? In other words, as soon as I start being myself, you get up and leave. So if I say yes, within 12 hours, not 24, why 12? Why only 12? Because if it's an even day, like fair exchange is no robbery, it means fair exchange. If you got 12 hours in the day and 12 hours in the night, that's 24 hours, right? Well, let's deal just with the night part on an even day. So I don't need but 12 hours. When it's time for the light to come, darkness will be dispelled forever. You God now. You've got a man come up, reminded everybody, got him ready for you. However, the man that is the reminder also got to go through the test himself. It's not written about him being no daily sacrifice. It's written about him that he turned traitor. Well, why, God? Why would you allow that to take place? For one thing, because I'm God. I don't care what he does. I'm going to reverse it. And the first place is because at the time, to show my beloved messenger the love from me, I allowed him to have who he wanted. Are you listening? He asked for that. Would you give me Farrakhan to stand in my place while I'm absent? He named him. Just like we named Elijah in the book. Just before that great and dreadful day, I will send you Elijah. At least I come and smite the earth with a curse. I mean, if it didn't happen, wouldn't be nothing to say. And even after he came or was sent or was raised and delivered the message, even after that, we still look and say, well, even behind all of that, I'm here 40 years, 365 days a year, 40 years of that. A daily sacrifice, ain't but 144,000 going to make it. 144,000. And when the message was starting to being given out, it was 17 million with 2 million Indians. But only 144,000 going to make it. So it appears to me, if you're doing any thinking at all, you would most certainly consider the time. If this is true concerning Louis Farrakhan, if this is not his last speech, his last sermon, in his condition, how many more speeches is left in it? What could he possibly do at this juncture to bring about any system of salvation for you? The rhetoric that has came from him has produced a wall of enemies for him and everyone that follows him. The white man, the best of them, the Jew, have already put it into motion. This man and anything or anyone that's with him will receive nothing. We're going to show him who God really is. If God is anyone other than us, well, let him serve Louis and the nation. Until then, if he opened up a $5 million restaurant, we'll sell him the material and put it up and make sure he got to close it down. He can have 900,000 zillion temples in North America. We'll make sure that he got to pay rent on every one of them. You think about it. So at this late juncture, with the failing health of this supposed to be righteous man, where is the salvation for you that's not sick? Where is your salvation for those of you that has not gone to the hospital? Where is your salvation for you that are just born and have looking forward to, or your parents are looking forward to sending you to a school of learning? Where is your salvation when we see the schools are being closed down? Looking at the news yesterday, you can't even go to Toys R Us and buy toys. The roof is falling in. Y'all understand what's being said? So, I asked the question, what would you do? So now I shall say what I have and is due. Did I hear that? Regardless of how much the ministers that spoke before me rehearsed or recited all the accolades concerning me and their like of me, means nothing if I'm not doing something. You know, I have a very beautiful wife. At least I think so. However, she's not saving y'all. She may be beautiful to you all. She's beautiful to me. But she's with me. So the ministers may talk about me, whatnot. To them, I'm like their wife or I'm their husband. I'm their father. You know, they showing their love. If I were not doing nothing, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. So let me speak on what Allah actually does. Me. During the discussion between the original Allah and me concerning the problem of the universe, not planet Earth, universe. Are you following me? Well, what problem, Royall? The problem that you're caught up in, the battle between right and wrong, negative and positive. If God is God and he's the real God, all powerful, all seeing, all knowing, why is this other force? What is its purpose? Since God is peace, and wherever you find confusion, he's not there. So why is this other force permitted to exist? So the discussion between he and I was that I would remove this other force. So like the messenger said, this God is a new God, me. And his duty is to take you up on a ladder and then remove the ladder where you will not be able to lie, steal, kill, cheat. Any of those things you won't be able, you can't even think of it. Take you up and remove it. You can't come to, no more making somebody else from you, no more grafting. None of that. This is my duty. This is my duty. This is what we discussed. Now, since the law is God, for to be the all-knowing God, has to be a creator. He has to create himself and then show the power that he has power over anything else that's already created before he came into existence. The original Allah had to show, after he created himself, that he had all power over everything that exists, meaning the matter that was already here with no direction and no purpose. He had to show power over it and put it in order. Now I come along as a new Allah. Created myself, and I have to show that I have supreme power over everything that is already here, including the original Allah. Are you listening? So my duty is to make sure that I remove the hindrance from this creation, the original creation. I have to remove it. So now, how would I do this? Since we want to save a few people. We want to save. This earth, after all of the trials of the original Allah attempting to reach a solution concerning this matter, has now reached the 7th planet. And every time he leaves one planet and goes to another, this other force automatically comes with it. This is why the planets are counted from 1 to 9. They have an order. You don't just say 1 and then 2 over here and 3. No, they have an order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why is it that way? Every time he started from one planet, he encountered this because that's where the focus of the other force is. Always with him. So he would leave one planet after he had reached his purpose or zenith in the plan for that landmass or matter and go to another. Start over again. Are you listening? Now, since I showed up, and the book says the number of God and man is 6, meaning that that planet, there were 6 planets that had a period put to it. God had left it. So there cannot be no solution to that problem because the all-wise had left and gone to another planet. Started over again. This time. And we put in the book That used to be won't be no more. All the former things will pass away. Are you listening, God? You have what? Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, I missed one. Neptune, Mars. 6 planets. I think in the Bible it says man was created through 6 periods of time. 6 periods. It means 6 planets. The new God's number, the new God, not God's number, the new God's number is 7. We're on the 7th planet now. And you count the planets from the furthest out coming to the sun. Like it teaches you in the Quran. You go always towards the light until you become light. Not go from it. So most of you thought the sun, then Mercury, what is it, Mercury, no. Yeah, it's Venus. Earth, Mars, like that. But that's not the way you go. Because the planets existed before the sun. So the new God is on the scene now, standing on the stage here. I'm not saying that in the sense of bragging. That's what you should do. You should say, I know God and I know where he is. I can talk with him. I can touch him. I can feel him. I can eat with him. I can walk with him. So they didn't lie in the Bible when they said that. I'm his people, and this man most certainly is my God. We're still coming up to today. After this period of time, we say, well, we shall not leave this planet number 7. And this other force go with us. This is the end of him. This is his destination. Annihilation. So North America is a place where we are to gather anyone that is of importance and allow them to develop together. So when I come, I will have everything in one place. All the pus and all of the antibodies that's fighting this pussy wound. I will have them in one place. It is called North America, preferably the United States, not Mexico nor Canada, although they're one. So we raise up Elijah, push the call out to attract the nature of the man that wants this. Not being made to accept it, he wants it. Then he comes. And because the time is not right where he can actually experience salvation, because of his will, we will allow him to produce children that has that same will in them, so that they will be blessed through their children. This is why I don't make no one be with me. Be wise as you are, but I don't make it. This is strictly volunteer. I went to Minister Farrakhan when he was Farrakhan. And I showed him, explained to him, taught him for hours the authenticity of myself in such a manner that he could not ignore it. He could not disagree with it and justify it. So being God, I did the right thing. I went to the one that was left in charge. First, I asked him to deliver this knowledge to you. I would do it to you and for you through him. He said no after we left, not to my face. Now, it's not like I didn't know it. You know, it's like your child do something wrong, you looking at him, but he don't see you looking at him. Then you call him, boy, what you doing? Oh, nothing. Oh, no, sir. Did you just drop that glass and break it? Oh. Well, what was I looking at? Nobody in the room but me and you, and I was looking at you and you did it. Now they ain't got nothing to say. Same with him. I already knew. But you still ask. Because there may be some kind of hidden reason you didn't see. You see what I'm saying? The boy could have walked by the table, and all I saw him knocking the glass off with his arm, but I didn't see him step on his shoestring. And he was tripping. So I asked him, did you knock the glass over? He should say, oh, yes, sir, Father. Then I would have to say, well, why? I tripped over my shoestring. Then I got to look down at his shoes. Oh, the boy's shoes is untied. Well, get the glass up, if he's big enough to do that. Get the glass up after you tie your shoes. You see what I'm saying? In other words, I am highly insulted for someone that is supposed to represent me, making it so damn hard for you to figure out how I do things. Always got to be a mystery, like I have gave him more than I gave anybody else, and it's to the degree that I'm showing some kind of favorable love to him, and you can't get it. The only way you can get it, you got to try to get some through him. If he says okay, you get a little bit. If he don't say okay, well, you just up the creek. Hell no, I don't work that way. I don't respect no particular person. I don't respect it. I respect you as much as you respect yourself. And I don't mean you respect yourself because you're a good con man. I ain't talking about that kind of respect. If you respect the truth and you show it to yourself, then I got to respect you. Because I see you using the truth on you. So I got to respect you. So why is it so difficult? Why is it every black man that I see is so confused when it comes to God? Nobody knows nothing definite about God. Nobody. Except the ones that's with me. I don't care what preacher you talk to, how many popes of Rome that's been in office, that's there now, they can give you no definite. It don't exist. If you ask the minister, look, you say you from God, you God's man. You the mouthpiece, you close to God. I can see something that's blessing you. What about so and so and so and so and so? Well, I don't know, brother. You have to go and pray on it. What? Go in. You mean you don't know? You getting all this wealth, all this attention, God didn't give you the answer to this simple? If you don't have it, my God, I can't say he loved me. I'll never get it. So I may as well put on the short skirt, maybe we'll put on the baggy pants, go into the nightclub and get burnt out. Am I standing too far to the light, brother advisor? In other words, if you're going to do any thinking at all, I am not one to introduce or foster confusion. If anyone could have cleared this up before I came, I may not have came. Wouldn't have been no need. However, looks like the need has grown now out of the proportion of the time. Meaning that I won't have enough time to save you because what I'm doing and how long it takes for you to digest what should be done don't correspond. Even when you turn to go to do right, you're going to find yourself so far behind, you might commit suicide yourself. Can you imagine some of the ones that has come in my presence, talked with me, ate with me, left, went back out, and talked about me like a dog? You think that's not recorded? You think that's not recorded? Even if you thought it and didn't say nothing, you're recorded. As long as you thought it and didn't come back, it's recorded. If you thought it and said it in a manner to keep others from coming, it's most certainly recorded in the front pages. And it's on official paper. It cannot be erased. It can only be shown mercy based on your own action. And in time I shall erase it, if it's one. You keep it up with me? So the world is looking and listening to Lewis. Minister Lewis, Reverend Lewis, Preacher Lewis. Messenger called him one of my best preachers. Wife would call him Reverend. Members call him Minister. That's the proper title. Minister, no more. Now we can call him Chief Hypocrite. No, that's the wrong title. He's the hypocrite. Chief has a boundary. You know, chief, you got other things mixed in it. When it's the hypocrite, all of it's hypocrite. Ain't nothing mixed in with it. It's just hypocrite. You might say, well, you shouldn't talk about the man like that. Why not? You got to know. You got to know. Well, I don't have to know that. Okay, well, no, you don't have to. You're not going to be with me. And I don't think it used to be, well, we see how much water you could drink. This time, we'll see if your skin can resist that fire. But you don't have to be with me. You're going to do one or the other. You're going to be with me or you're going to roast. It's as simple as that. I'm not pleading to nobody. I'm not begging you. I'm only sharing with you the urgency of the time and what I am doing. I have a place that we already carved out in North America in the center of it. It's called Kansas City, Kansas. Right across the little stream from Kansas City, Missouri. It's almost like Twin Cities. And there, we are developing a place for you to answer every need that you would have. And you know what your greatest need is? It's not food, clothing, or shelter. That's going to happen anyhow, if you breathe. Even if somebody else got to dress you and clothe you for you. That's going to happen anyhow. The greatest need is for you to be able to think. And think right. That's the greatest need. So there is a place where activity is in motion. Sponsored by correct thinking. And there are enough of us there now that will not allow, or we will put in check, that one that wants to come in and bring it back to nothing. Regardless to who it is. Not just black people, You know, last Independence Day, you all remember that? You know, the school, we raised the flag. The flag of Islam. 7-point store, we raised it on the flagpole. Right across the street, straight across the street from where the flag was raised, white people live. And to show you the hatred of Satan and the cooperation with Satan from his made man, or the man we made for him, white man, he got so upset that that flag was raised that upon the brothers leaving, they're going to come over and spark the confrontation. Here we got several brothers out in front of the school, about to board the bus. They come over across the street where we are, and they're going to pick on us. Of course, you know what happened. A couple of them had to go to the hospital. Now, you listen to this very carefully, very carefully. The policeman gave quite a few of us summons or tickets to show up in court. Because he said none of us would cooperate with them. When they got to court, we had it postponed until January. Just passed. 6 months. Until the brothers could come back for the celebration to be in the area so they could go to court. Of course, the Caucasian had 900 fits. What? You postponed it for them niggas? 6 months? So they just raised all kind of hell. So January shows up. Come to find out, nobody had to go to court but just a couple brothers. All the rest of them said don't even come. We'll let Counselor and Secretary James them handle it. If anything comes out after that, then we may have to call them back. Naturally, they went. They was concerned. They asked me. I said, don't even worry about it. Go. I love this. Go. They got there, and it was so preposterous, he threw it out. While they were leaving the devil, they made the statement. So they told me about it. They still insist that we were with Louis. They came to one of the arbitrations that they had with a whole stack of internet. What was on the internet, printouts on the Nation of Islam to show the hate that we have of them. And we kept telling them, we're not the Nation of Islam. We're not the Nation of Islam. They still insist, yes, you are. So, I don't want you to get upset when I'm about to tell you. It's still good. I'm still gone. It's good that somebody knew what they're doing. About a week ago, or a week and a few days, the brothers performed security. Now, they do rolling security around all the products. We got quite a bit of profit in this particular area, developing it into heaven. So about 5 o'clock, around that time, quite a bit of gunfire. So when the brothers rolled back up on the filling station, they come to find out all the windows had been shot out. All of them. And the filling station got those big glass, it ain't no little pane. You know the Eagle, the seasoned traveler? No, the Pride of Truth. You know the bus? The Eagle? They shot a window out in there. shot a hole in the back of the bus. Altogether, it was something like 27 or 28 shots fired. And they left the spent cartridges right there. And it was at close range. It wasn't from across the street. It went all the way around. The police came. We called them. It took them about an hour and something to get there. However, so many other things were happening at the same time. The police force was so small they couldn't answer. They was already at the other place. We just called the police to make a report. Oh, we know who did it. You know, at first when they called me, I said, you know who did it? Well, no, sir, Father. I said, you think it was somebody in the community? No, I don't think it was somebody in the community. I said, well, who was it? I don't know. I said, well, who made this thing say it wasn't over? Oh, yes. So the police shows up and says, oh, this is just property damage. And all of you all that think Brother Secretary James is, a little tough on you, a little cantankerous, the brother handles some major events all the time. White police who came out and started picked up 3 spent cartridges. He went and said, what are you doing? No, don't you touch nothing. Don't you touch nothing. I said, call the chief. He called the chief because we're on the police board. We are. I told him to do that a long time ago. Got the captain. He told the captain what the police officer was doing. He said, put that idiot on the phone. Chewed him out. They sent down the forensic people, and it wasn't just property damage. Anyway. So, now, they want to know, how can this be proven? I said, just wait a day. Just wait a day. They waited. Inside the building. They came back. To see their handiwork. They obviously got them. Brother got the car, seen the car, knew the car, right across the street from school. They see it every day. The boy that was hospitalized, he was in the car. 3 other ones, he was showing them what they did. He saw him, look where he at. They saw him, that somebody was in the station, peeled up. So, well, brothers want to go take him. No, don't do that. Something else first. Are y'all listening? It was all on the news and everything. And guess what the people in the community would say? If anybody would shoot at them, nobody would say. We support what they're doing. Just lying. In their mind, they support it. In their mind. Because they're like saying, well, yeah, just, like a lot of people, they say, yeah, the Muslims, they look right, but I ain't going over there. They support us in their mind. So they came on the television and said, look, hey, no, if that happened, them people, they do what's right. And one man came up and said, if I'm a finder who did that, if it takes me a year, when I find them, I'm killing them. Well, that's what you want to do. We didn't tell them who it was. We kept it to ourselves because we didn't want to get a big thing started. So we called the chief and let him know what was taking place, whatnot. Who did it? So they said, oh, so they got all the evidence together and whatnot. They said, you all have done too much in this community. Everything has gone down. Brought too much civilization back to it. We're not going to let no redneck monkeys come and carry us out. We have not protected you all like we should. Well, from now on, you don't worry about it. It's going to take place. If anybody do anything to you all, they're not going to get away. So James Jones said, well, whether you do anything or not. They said, well, please let us do our work first. Would you do that? They're asking. They didn't say, well, look, if you do something, we have to arrest you. They didn't say that. Please, would you let us? You see? So heaven is being prepared for you. And I said that to show you that nobody comes in, not they can't find out who did it, just call me. I'll look into your crystal ball and visit them when they think not. Should I say this since I'm God? You know why this is not bragging or being boastful? The first law is self-preservation. Is that right? And we are never the aggressor. However, if you are the aggressor against us, we don't turn our back and run. And if it's me, I kind of like it. You know, it gives me a chance, an opportunity to show that I'm a lot more than just putting up a building. Even if somebody's self-defeated, I'm going to show you I can protect you also. I know the messenger used to say, Allah delights in protecting you. He delights in it. But that's true. I just delight in it. At this time, there is no place other than what's being developed by me and those that are with me that can accurately be described as a place of salvation. Where we are, what we're doing, everyone that comes and pays attention, mainly look like now it's starting to be white folks, is raving over what we're doing. Are you listening? It's going to soon get to the point the same way it was with the message. We're not going to have to do nothing. Anyway, we're protecting ourselves. White folks told the messenger, oh, look, hey, we know you're God. He's already told us. If we allow something to happen to you, if we harm one hair on your head, he's going to get us. We don't want that. So we'll make sure ain't nothing going to happen to you. You can forget about that thing like king, forget that. That ain't going to happen to you. Is that right? Is that right, brother minister? They sent for Elijah, walked him up, and paraded him up Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. And the FOI wasn't the one that was there to protect him. And the messenger didn't have to pay like Jesse Jackson did. Oh, no. White folks know. The ones that's in charge, they know. Poor dumb black man. With all that I and we are doing, every day I look on the net, I'm cursed out. Every day. I'm called everything but God. If they put God to it, they say a fool. They say God, yeah, but he's a damn fool. White people ain't saying it. What people like? You see? So salvation. I got the place for you. I can't make you come. You know, like they say, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. But at least the water is there. But this is what I do. If I lead the horse to the water, and he won't drink, I let the water stay there. Bring the sun up a little temperature. Just a minute. You understand what I'm saying? This salvation has to be true. It has to include everything that we deal with in our psyche. You know, even how you close your door, how you go to the store, what you think of, why you think of it, what you eat, when you eat it, what type of toilet tissue you purchase or going to make. It's got to include all of that. Not just, well, I'm God, and because it's written in the book that I'm God, so you all should believe it. That ain't got nothing to do with it. There was no books at all. You're the book that's already been written. You need to be able to think freely and have the necessary ingredients as absence of filth to use as your thought base. Would you agree? Well, if someone else is doing it besides me, let me know. Because I want to know if I don't join them, I'm most certainly going to be close to them. A place, black man. You got to have a place. You all call Nation of Islam. Where is it? Where is it? This man has gotten so large that he speaks to people now. A satellite. But where's the place? Where's the place where you can go as a community, get your clothes washed, get them dry cleaned, get your hair cut, fill your car up, provide your own insurance, get your own tires. Where can you do that? Have your own restaurants, have your own farm producing land, have your own timberland. Where is it? And moreover, your own universities, and moreover than that, a place and a purpose for moving. And the purpose isn't that you're going to have a job. With us, that's what you're doing. Forget it. You may as well, you're dead already. Because that's something that's repetitive. And repetitive things are boring. Matter of fact, we know that, so you know what we did? We know that the heart has to beat over and over and over. We know you got to breathe over and over and over. So we made it where you don't even think of it. That way you can't get bored. Well, I guess I've said enough. This is the place. I'm the orchestrator. I'm conducting this band. And all that is performing in it, and all that are listening to it are those that like it. And I hope you all are asking for an encore. Nobody's producing this for you but me. And for you to curse your own way out of hell. This hell, white folks can't do nothing to you compared to the hell I have for you. I made a statement on the center pages, which is true. This time, everything will be destroyed by fire. And in the Quran, it reads, white folk are kindled for the fire. I want you to think now. Most of you think, well, that's fire was made for white people. No. Kindling is not what the purpose of the fire is made for. That's just to get it started. Is that right, brother, mister? So who could the fire really be for? Could white folks really offend me and I made them to do it? So why am I burning them up? Purposely. I mean, I made them, so now they've gone against me, they've upset me, so now I shall burn them up. That's a dumb God, isn't it? If he already knew they were going to do it, if he made them to do this, then he's going to make a fire to burn them up. So you got to think. Kindling for the fire. It's in the Quran. If any of y'all ever saw it. And it talks about the white woman and it says it's got a rope around her neck. It's there. So the fire is designed for you. Why? Because after the flesh is no more, then that which the flesh housed has to be dealt with. You are not going to be able to go back to the sun. That's not hot enough. You go back there, it's hot compared to what you think heat is now. Yeah, it's hot compared to that. But when you actually go back to it, it's like, ooh, you're ready home. Lovely place. So I got to come with something hotter than that. You follow me? And you don't produce that kind of heat or kindling. Everybody understand? So whatever hell you can think of, believe me, you have not thought of this. Nor have you ever in life or in creation experienced it. Now, that's one of the reasons why Satan has never been destroyed. They could never think of what type of force would destroy him. I didn't say kill him. Because if you kill him, he come back. Destroy, where he never comes back again. Y'all tired? Well, that's my duty. Whether you accept it or not, it does not negate the truth of it. I cannot say, well, since they don't believe me, it must not be true. I say, since they don't believe me, they will experience what I have prepared for the disbelievers. Preparations is already been made. Since I'm not an angel, I'm not a messenger, I'm not an apostle, I'm not the Pope, I'm the essence of all things. Is that clear? Well, I won't say too much more, and I want you to forget. If you remember anything of this day's lecture, the place for salvation to retrieve the best of creation from the original Allah. That is what is to be salvaged. And that is the black man. At least a few of them. If we can salvage at least a few of you, and the proper term is not if. If it were that, we don't gamble. You would be here. We would just go ahead and do it over. Speaking in your language, if. Speaking in mine, definitely it is. You got it? All right, so now I will attend to whatever you have for me, you for me, personally. Answer your question if you have it. If not, today is a beautiful day. I should go look for a spot where I will put my restaurant. Have anyone here heard from me anything that you know to be in error? What you heard, would you consider to be good for you? Well, thank you. We shall see what you do with good. We have a little small place. I want to thank the brother that owns this place for allowing us to use it cost free. Now, if it's not, wait a minute now before you clap. I may have been giving wrong information. How people do that? If it is true, I most certainly thank you. This is what that does. It allows me to pay you in a way. Most people want $200, $300, $400, $500 for 3 or 4 hours, and when we give it to them, that's it. If they fall off the step, break their leg, money will come out of their pocket, wind blow it down the street. Hey, too bad. That was it. However, if they say, well, look, what you're doing, I'm in harmony with it. What's mine is yours, and what's yours, I'm trying to. Then I can say, well, most certainly, what's mine is yours too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it to you in increments, so you can learn to use it while you're perceiving it or receiving it. Much like the actual facts. You came and said, look, this is yours. 196,940,000 square miles. So much is water, so much is land. Bam, 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 bam. We're giving it to you. And we're giving you a manual with it. If you follow it, Every day you open up, you'll never get to the end of it. See? So the brother, if this is done from his heart, and the genuineness is there, it gives me another person, another avenue to send blessings. And if he's so smooth, he has to check himself. Can you live that? I'm blessed. I usually ease blessings upon him. Get too excited. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Get back to him. There you go.
Brother Solomon, I enjoyed the service today, and I think that everyone that's there. But what I want to say, in compliment to what you just said a while ago about the brother, the building the church here, that brother Mike Farmville, Lonnie Farmville, Troy Farmville, they used to be my neighbors. I think they are doing a great job. One thing, my uncle, Mike Cannon, myself, a friend of mine, Bobby, we buy your dishes every Saturday. We can't ignore it because they be on the job. I never knew that much about you. This is my first time attending. Last time I think you did shape something, and I wasn't able to get there. It was an emergency situation. But they're doing the brothers here, and I'm pretty sure some more of them that I'm not aware of, but they are doing a beautiful job, and I think you need to recommend that. I'm pretty sure you know that. You all know that. But they are very enthused, and you got some people on your side. I just want to say that I enjoyed it, and I'll come again.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure my uncle will come again, but I just want to recommend them because I don't think that they knew. I know that they knew I was going to come and do this, but that was in my heart. You said something about
Yes,
the gentleman building here, and I
Yes,
want you to know that the woman Troy, Mike, and Ronnie Farmville, and his wife, which cooked cakes, I understand, that it wouldn't be possible.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
they are really doing their job. Believe me, you all go with that from New York, or Washington, D.C., or wherever you're from. They're doing their job.
Yes, sir. All
They're
right.
doing their job. And,
Yes, sir.
I'm not Muslim. I'm not Muslim. I don't attend church. I think I have a lot to do within myself to really become what I want to become and be sincere about doing it. As time go on, I have to search myself. But I would say this, I'm not no more than that much from that. And what I like more than anything that you're doing, to sum it up that 1 and 1 is 2, that I always been the type of person that want my own, want to have. And I know you said about Kansas City, about your land, things like that. And it's always been my dream to be, and my uncle as well, to do something for ourselves.
That's right.
So I just want you to know I enjoyed it, and you don't forget the Farmville.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They don't forget the people in Raleigh, North Carolina. They are on the warpath. Believe me.
Yes, sir.
I have enjoyed it.
All right.
All right.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I'll say this. By his testimony, this lets all you all that's in the field working. I know when I was doing it, and someone said that to me, it made me feel, look, if what I'm doing is justified, I'm serving something to the people that is worthy, and it makes you, it makes you feel good that you've done something that is good. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone here. I'd like to, first of all, just to thank my uncle and my cousin and their wives for inviting myself and my wife and daughter. My uncle, which I haven't seen in about 12 years, it seems to be anyway that long. I know he's been tried and true, and also my cousin, to the teaching of Islam. As a child, I'm old enough to go back and reminisce the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I left as a child, as I grew, and left the faith around about 10 or 11. Since then, I have converted to Christianity and been so as an adult, although I have sort of kept the temperature on the teaching of Islam from time to time with the papers, talking to other brethren and sisters of Islam. I guess my question before we depart this evening is that if you could kindly, I know my cousin had kind of expounded on it shortly when I visited with him a couple of weeks ago in D.C. Would you please kind of expound on the transformation from the flag? As I remember as a child, it was 5 stars. And now I see it's 7 stars. And I do understand your teaching as far as the Nation of Islam and now becoming the New Nation of Islam. Would you please expound to the 3 of us why this happened? And I certainly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Naturally, everyone is used to the 5-pointed star. First place, the star represents justice. Each point represents the amount of justice that you are looking to receive from that star. If it was a 3-pointed star, you're not going to get that much justice. 4 is a little more. 5-pointed, it goes along with the man that is in charge or the ruler of the day, which is the Caucasian. And his knowledge never exceeded over 33 degrees. So it means that he's not really capable of really giving you really in-depth judgment. However, he can judge based on what he has developed. And most of it is not in accord with creation. However, it's like you buy an automobile. It may have 120, 160 on the speedometer. However, the car is the system here in this country is set up and designed for no more than 7, although the car can do more than that. They got the stop signs, they got the gas stations, they got the food stations, they got the rest areas. Everything is set up to justify that particular action. And if you use it that way, you don't need no more than about 5 points to justify that because it's not that much knowledge. Now, when it comes to God, not that God only has 7 points. However, I come to salvage the real man. I come to salvage that which is wanted by the supreme being. So I'm not to go so far ahead that they don't recognize me, nor can I recognize them. And the knowledge that I share supersedes anyone else as a people. The next one above the 5-pointed star is the ones that call themselves the Jews. They have the Star of David. 6 points. And they just about run everything. Yes, sir. When they say don't do something, they don't have to tell you. They go tell all the people that you work with, you are not to hire him. If you do, I'm withdrawing all my support. You shall not be able to buy nor sell because I own everything. And you go, I don't care how good you go, and you go, and the man tells you, look, you got a pink slip in. Well, I'm the best on the job. Why you fire me? I got to let you go, man. Lewis wanted to build a nation. What he said, what he did, the Jews said, okay, you think you're going to build something? Anybody that deals with him, he's cutting you off. So when they go, they say, well, no, we can't. Well, we know you're right and everything, but, we can't allow this. You see? So it's like him using himself as being the judge of what is and what isn't in his world. So God shows up. I got to come with a knowledge higher than that. And then be able to do it in such a way that I have enough knowledge to judge them at the 5, those of the 6, and those that I'm bringing into the 7th, and whatever else until the star don't have no more points. It'll be round like the moon. It won't have to judge nothing. Everything will judge itself on its own conception. So that's what it means. The more stars or points that you have to the star represents the knowledge or the ability that you have to judge that which should be judged. So that's what it means. And something else, too. You mentioned about being a Christian. This is what has appealed to our people. In the churches, even like you see the tinted glass and whatnot, we're people of color. I mean, inside of us is all colors. So when you see it, it relates to what's in your nature. So all of these things appeals to your feeling. And you have been taught to go with your feeling, especially if the feeling is consistent. Now, when God himself shows up, he knows that feeling is almost the last thing you pay attention to. However, the people are not used to that. So when he comes sharing knowledge to foster thought, it don't agree with the feeling. So you say, well, I know it's true, so I'll stay back and I'll deal with the feeling, but I'm going to keep a barometer on that thought. So as long as we that are with me continue to do what we're doing and bringing about the destruction of wrong, the one that is keeping his eye on the barometer of the thought is going to say, whoop, I'm home. Because they're going to see all of what produced a feeling now has dissipated. And all the feeling is producing is if you will not teach the person right, they can't be fed right. They can't be led right. And the wages of sin, meaning when it's not right, and you don't have no excuse for it to be wrong, then it's sin. And the wages of sin is death. Not that you just die. The wages of sin is death, and you die a long, miserable death. Death is constantly riding on life. Now it's gone, and death is the victor. That's why it's written in the Bible, oh death, where is your sting? Oh grave, where is your victory? Because it is no more. You got it? So that's what we're doing. It may seem simple. I'm rather simple. Because I find pleasure in the simple thing. Because it's not complicated. Now, if we want to get complicated, let's do it with the numbers. So that we may leave this planet and go to other planets. Through the complication of the numbers because of what we have to go through to reach the other planet in a timely manner. And the only way it becomes complicated is because you've got to consider everything that exists between you and your destination. Now, if you're going nowhere from here to that door, that's your destination. You don't have to use too much math. You might want to count your steps. So if you want to close your eyes and do it in the dark, you can do it. That's not complicated. But if you want to go from here to Pluto, or let's say go from here to the Milky Way, you got to have a little math. It becomes a little complicated then. However, us as people, as individuals, as human beings, to go as far as your mind will allow you to go, then you will get into some type of complication in the configuration of math. But you'll never be disappointed. Y'all got it? Yes, sir, soldier.
Hi again, Father.
Yes, sir.
First off, before I begin with my two questions, I want to say I like that suit, man. Those colors, you wear them well.
Yes, sir. Well, we got a tailor, you know. He's making suits now. Got a sewing factory going.
Well, I'll be looking him up then.
Yes, sir. Well, he's right there in heaven.
Yes, sir. My question, two of them pertaining to scriptures in the Bible. One pertaining to when it says that when Jesus went to hell to retrieve three souls. It mentions the fellow's name, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing names correctly. And then Abednego. Clarity on that. What hell? Who are they representing? What is this actually meaning?
This meaning that, he came here to North America to retrieve the black man. And really, it's been more than just one Jesus. However, if you want to be specific about it, Master Prophet Muhammad, then Elijah was already raised here. So he didn't come, he was raised here. And he had to experience more than 3 years. But the man that came and spent 3 years, it wasn't so much as 3 people. Because the black man, he came for the black man, period. And whatever different characteristics of the black man was all in-house in this particular people. So he just let you know that he came after white people put things in that confusion. So, I came in a person, Master Prophet Muhammad came here, stay here 3 years to raise up the message to make sure he gets you. Or at least get your attention. In other words, there was no other 3 individual black men here that was so great that I came to get them. No, I came for the black man, period. If that answers the question.
Quite simply. The other one pertaining to Noah. This flood, this ark. I know you explained it before. I'm missing some clarity as far as the flood. What was the flood actually?
It was water, much like what I came through getting down here.
Yes, sir.
In other words, it was just in a particular area. It wasn't over the earth. It wasn't over no continent. Matter of fact, it wasn't even over no country. It was over a particular ruling class of people in a particular area that had been warned for some time that they should change their ways. And they didn't do it. So we brought about a flood and drowned them.
So that's why they can't find that ark on a.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, from the time that took place, and the material that was used to actually, to build, if it was art, you wouldn't see that no how. At that time, they didn't treat the wood. So it would have decayed. Like it was biodegradable.
Right. And yes, sir. That answered my question, and that brought a lot of clarity, especially for the art part, but for both of them. Just want to say also that it's just a privilege to spend 2 days with Supreme Man.
Yes, sir. My
Thank
privilege.
you.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, sir. It seemed to be a day for testimonies. I have one myself.
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen my biological father, dad, in about 10 years. And when I came into the idea, and started learning or being taught mathematical thinking, start seeing you as who you are, as God, mathematically, and you teaching me how to see myself as being a God. I've been rotating on my biological father. However, I hadn't spoke with him again in 10 years, and we've been having some misunderstanding. It may have been me misunderstanding my dad. So I have a lot of Christian biological family members, and for the past 3 years I've been crazy in their eyesight. They've been calling me crazy, and I've been sharing the knowledge with them. And I took it on emotionally until I started learning and being taught how to master my emotions. And I started rotating on, God is here, and I want to show them. I want to bring them to, meet God or to see what's taking place. And the rejection I've been getting from them, it's like, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. It's really been really negative. So my Christian sister called me up last week and shared with me. She said, your daddy wants to speak to you. He said, give him a call. I said, yes, ma'am. You know what it's about. She said, it's about that Islam mess. Both of you crazy. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So after she hung up, I called him immediately. And we spoke. And I shared with him. I said, well, he said, yes, sir. How you doing, son? I heard they call you crazy. I said, yes, sir. I'm doing fine. He said, you remember they used to call me crazy? He pricked my thinking. And I do remember when my mother and my grandmother and his sisters used to literally call him crazy. And that was because I used to constantly hear my father say, all praise is due to Allah. I didn't understand it, being 6 and 7 years of age. I just knew they was giving him hell. Along with the Caucasian, he had a drinking problem. However, when he was drunk, it was like it was payback, to get him hell. When he was sober, he was a total different brother. So talking with him, it started pricking, my thinking, and he and I started building. And a lot of the things he was sharing had a lot to do with what I'm being taught. And I'm rotating. I'm like, how did he hold on to this for so long? So I shared with him. I said, he said, I heard you supposed to be going to see God. And I told your sister, I want to go with you. So my father is here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I picked him up and he shared with me. He said, man, I've been ready since 11 o'clock last night. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we made it out. And I wanted to give thanks and all praises to Father.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a wonderful testimony. Still giving all praises to Allah. How great it is to have a son that shared his love in the cross, that he never forgot that man is mine. And so I love it, and I'll be back again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you say? How did that song go? It's a beautiful morning. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
I wanted to ask you if you could go into some detail on entity, how entity comes in, how it goes out, under what circumstances justify these things to take place. I read your post on spirit and entity, but I wanted to get a deeper understanding of it, because I know for a lot of us, when we hear that, if we don't have the proper understanding, we can say, wow, that sounds spooky. Talking about something coming in and going out, or this individual is one man, but now he's another man. So could you give some clarity to that?
Yes, sir. In the spiritual literature, even religious literature, it speaks about the soul cannot be destroyed or killed. And I think it was even asked to Daniel in the Bible. Jesus asked Daniel, well, what would you God, I forgot which one it was. What would you have me to do for you? And he said, I'd like for you to give me my youth back. And it caused me to run and jump and leap like a gazelle. So this is a sign or reality that the makeup of the actual energy of the person cannot leave the maker or its maker. It cannot be killed or destroyed. It is issued out from him in parts or pieces from his pure resting, I won't say resting, from his pure place of where he resides. And that's the sun that's light coming through this window. There is no negative. However, there is no flesh either. So this is why each person, especially the black man, is referred to as a part of the sun or a person, part of the sun, which really means that you're part of God. However, this particular part is a mass of completed ideas that will allow you to be flexible in your thinking to respond appropriately to that which has already been created and made. And also afford you the opportunity to bring in something new, or at least attempt it, which will bring about a energy around you that makes everything submit or be happy. So that's what an entity is. Now, when it comes into the flesh, because flesh has to produce flesh. Entities don't produce flesh. Flesh has to produce it. That's why man has to put a physical thing into a physical womb or into his womb. She holds it, calls it to develop, and then it must come from her. And when the child comes from her and takes the first breath, it used to be startling because that was the time of white folks or the devil, so they always did everything, suddenly. That's why if they want to scare you, they say, boo! They don't come up and say, boo. They do it suddenly. So they used to spank their babies and make them take the breath. When they did that, the entity came in. Now they're born, when they come out, they just come out looking at you, the entity, but they still took that breath. Because it's my time now. I'm not frightening them. I'm just combining the essence of life with this life form of the physical. So this is why this new mass of matter that's coming from this woman, from her womb, is called infant. Because that's when the entity enters. And when it expires is when the body no longer can respond to this mass of completed ideas. So the body has to be laid to rest. So the Bible reads. However, what we do, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We burn them. We burn the body. We cremate it. Because the entity now has gone back to its origin, the sun, where no time exists until your next dispatch. So it comes back, when you come back again, you come back into another body, as it is written about Methuselah. He said, at the end of time, when God has done all this, whatnot, I shall be standing in the ranks. Not that I will be floating in space. I will be standing in the ranks. And the Quran reads, the original Allah has the knowledge and the power to remake you over again down to your very fingertips. You see. So it's spooky when the spooky man is telling you about it. When God himself is explaining to you what he does, very simple. Very simple. You keep an automobile until it no longer can serve you. And if you still have need of one, you go get a different one. So just because we've been used to seeing you riding in your Cadillac, now we don't see the Cadillac no more, and now you got a Lincoln, and the Lincoln go by, we don't think it's you. You know, that ain't him because he got a Cadillac. When it should be, he had a Cadillac. He now has a Lincoln. You see? So that's the way it works.
What would be the difference between what's being taught as reincarnation and that process, and why is it that does the entity recall the former time or a future time?
It has the ability to recall it. However, it isn't necessary. And reincarnation, carnation or carcass is like the flesh. Nation is the place. So the body is the carnation. Meaning that the entity now is coming back into what it used to be, not that same body, but it's coming back into another body. That's a body. It was in another body. Now it's coming back in reincarnation. It's coming back again. The re means it's coming back again. Not the body, but the re is coming into another body. So, they call it reincarnation. If it's understood, it's acceptable. If it's not understood and spooky, leave it alone. However, you are here, you come and go many, many times. And when you go back, or you call back, you go back to your son, you're always updated for the time. So when you come back, you don't have the same script that you had when you left. You're updated because things constantly move. Things constantly progress. They multiply. If not, we have no use for it. The universe is constantly expanding. The earth is growing. And we grow from an infant to a full-grown individual. And then when the body ceases to grow, we don't stop growing here. We make many things happen. In other words, the more you grow here, the less you do this. It's almost getting to the point I can't even drive my vehicle. Somebody want to drive it for me. When I first started driving, I ain't going with you. Go yourself. Okay, I'm gone. You see? I go to comb my hair, brush my hair. Say, Father, we got it. I said, man, I bought this new brush. I want to try it out. See, in other words, and this is true. It's true. You grow to be a man physically. And as you keep growing mentally, reaching that completed idea, it becomes so huge and magnified that the human body, you end up, sometimes I can't get out of the bed until 11 or 12 o'clock. The phone. I said, let me jump up, ring. Let me answer that. So I got a speakerphone, and a lot of times people call me, they just want to talk to me. They don't want everybody else to hear it. And I'm never alone. I try to sneak off people, but I'm never alone. When I sneak off to go someplace, somebody's there waiting on me. So I just have to forget this. I have to let the person know, I'm going to put it on speaker. Is it all right? If I put it on speaker, I can't put my pants on. But most times they say, well, no, Father, I want to speak to you. Oh, okay. So now I got to put it on. Because the more and more you do, spiritually here or mentally here, the less you do physically. That's why it's written, the people will become weaker and wiser.
I know many people who focused on the person of Minister Louis Farrakhan. And you wrote a post, I read another post called Personalism. However, many people who have focused in seeing that individual, who now hear this knowledge that you're representing to us and the reality of the present, so we don't have to stand still, but can be in motion and learn and keep moving with the idea. It's as though when something's pulled into gravity or the motion of a thing, and you're trying to pull out of it. I guess the best way I could describe it is when you have those dreams where you're aware of everything and you want to move and you feel like you're stuck and you want to scream for help, but in the dream you just can't yell out, but in your mind you can do it and you're talking to yourself. It's almost that same experience to see what's taking place, the motion and that activity, and know that you want to go towards it and almost feel like you're stagnated or paralyzed, even though in your heart and your mind you say, this is it, this is right. So what key could you share that would allow or help you to go ahead and break free of that gravitational pull that's around?
Well, the first thing you have to realize about personalism, what takes place if this is like being with a woman that you know is doing you wrong. Before she did you wrong, she did you right. And you gave yourself to her. And in giving yourself to her, all that you were, you gave it. And you operated on that and in that circle of it. So now when she starts doing wrong, now you have to say, well, I got to break this. But you're in a habit now. Because all of your motivation, rendi, or however you pronounce it, has already been geared to include her. Now you got to stop and just go strictly on thinking. You got to actually weigh what you are willing to do based on the proper thoughts that you come up with. The thing with the wife, she may not change, or she does, it may be insignificant. With me, and anyone else that's concerned with me or representing me, I am every day forever increasing the discomfort on the one that's wrong concerning me and bringing the one up that's with me. So that they now can start to see it is not about personalism. If you notice, I may say many things here at Minister Farrakhan which are true. I've never said don't follow him. You never heard me say that. You never heard me say, look, don't follow him. I might say you're a fool for following. But I never said don't follow him. That's giving you a directive on what to do without giving you the substance. I should give you the substance and you determine what you're going to do with it. And then when you do it, you can't say, well, Father, you told me to don't follow him. And so I stopped following him. I don't see what you're doing. So, I don't like that. You can't say that because I didn't say stop following. Best I might say, it's not wise if you stay with the minister. It was all sunshiny and glorious yesterday. A cloud has moved in today. And as far as I can see, the cloud is getting darker. It's becoming more horrendous. Matter of fact, it's beginning to be frightening. It looks like it's carrying the power of a cataclysmic event. Just to make a point. Yes, sir.
My last one.
Yes, sir.
In the lesson book, could you give us some understanding on why, I forget the particular number, but it's talking about the number of hairs on the sheet. Could you give us some understanding on that? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. This has many, the lessons has many different meanings. The lessons has many different meanings. First place, we'd have to say, well, why is it a lamb or a sheep? And who do we come looking for? The lost. So how many was supposed to be numbered that we were looking for? 17 million. With the 2 million Indians. So how many hairs is actually on this sheep? Meaning, how many sheep are there? I come looking for the lost sheep. It's saying one. It's one as a people. But the people are numbering as many hairs as on the sheep. So it is designed to start the man that we came after to think. That's all. Not even necessary for him to come up with the absolute answer, because he couldn't. Because I did it in such a way, even you came up with the bean soup scientist. You could be right, you could be wrong. You couldn't prove it until I come and give you the absolute as to why I put it there. However, it's designed to make you think. When they start asking you about the atoms, and then the cracked atoms, and Mr. Osman wants to know this and that. During that time, it caused the black man to say, man, this is like preposterous. This is like gigantic. This is like, I can't conceive it. Like I said, well, look, in the near future, women's not going to have children the way they have it now. The child's just going to step out from them. You be looking, yeah, right. Like when they was asking back then, the slave, they never counted over $3 because he didn't make that no more than that in a week. Then you want to ask him about the hair on his sheep's back. He's like, forget that. So that's what it is. Everything is designed for him to think. But it's Mr. Sheep that I came after. Meaning that is the only beast that we are accustomed with man. That is that submissive that we apply or put him in the same category as divine. The lost sheep, the lamb, the sacrificial lamb, all that's divine. And what makes that particular animal divine is because of its submission. Well, you're supposed to be black man. I don't want no sheep nor lamb. I want you. Yes, sir. Did that answer the question? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Father. Early in the meeting, I got a phone call from a brother that was at the meeting watching Minister Lewis. Yes, and he shared with me the meeting started off late and that this was almost 3 o'clock at the time, and he shared that they're still going through the preliminaries. However, the whole beginning of the meeting, what was taking place is they were asking for donations before the meeting even started. And they had a system set up where you call out certain numbers, almost like a raffle type of.
Yes, sir.
And it brought to mind a conversation. The same brother that called me the last time I spoke with him, me and him were in a barbershop, and he was sharing how ridiculous today it is where you go to churches, and they have like a $2,000 line, a $1,000 line, where the people actually stand up and get in these lines to give money, and they have it all calculated like that. And I was like, man, I can't believe it. It's not that I can't believe it. It just bears witness to what you're sharing. He's got Savior's Day, however. The question would be like, what are you giving to and who's the Savior?
Yes, sir. You think we should set up those lines? I had to put up nickel and dime lines. Maybe $1. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And it also brought to mind how everybody always talks about wanting to go to heaven. And the way that they see the heavens, and the way they've been taught that the heavens is out in space. And based on truth, the heavens is what a man has in his mind that he's able to bring out to those that are listening or those that can understand it. And so in looking at that, a lot of times when you speak, it's so clear, it's so pure, away from the filth, that a lot of people get distorted because of what the environment that they're in, rather than focusing on the fact that what you're sharing is truth. It can actually be proven. You can actually experience it. And that's what will actually cause you to levitate to the level where you can speak one-on-one with God.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. I love you forever and ever.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam. Is that the son you was telling me about?
Yes, sir. That's why I'm here, actually. I'd like to get some guidance and knowledge on how to deal with the things he does. For example, we're going to be in a house and the mother can be breastfeeding the small one. He'll just go up to the small one and pull the arm. He'll just go up to the small one, hit him on the head. his room, he's colored all over the place.
I was just gonna say to you, the little boy's an artist. He's not gonna be satisfied until you start getting him some coloring books, painting books. You have to put him in one little room and just let him paint it all kind of different colors. Don't give a damn about the room. Let him just go for it.
Is that why he's been acting like this all along?
Sir?
Is that why he's been acting this way? As far as the rebelliousness, because we have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He has not left it. People are now coming on the planet that is designed to do a certain thing. And if you are doing something to stop them, if they're not in the right atmosphere, they're going to give you hell until something is produced that they can start participating themselves. They're very focused and direct and determined. So it's not always bad. They will do things to make you get your attention, to let you know they need some attention, and not from a strap. They need it from what they are made to do, why they're so dedicated to that particular thing.
Yes, sir.
If you want to calm him down, after you do that, you want to calm him down and whatnot, make sure you get the things, painting things that will water wash off and whatnot, where it won't be harmful to his skin or his eyes or anything of that nature, and just let him go for it. He will start coming out, and you will start seeing what's in him. And if you want him to be calm, get some chamomile tea. If you have to wear pull-ups for a while, because tea will make you go to the washroom.
Yes, sir.
And that will calm him in a way, and especially if he's got something to do. All children are not alike. Some is docile, some is very active, some is very demanding. So you have to. If it's already in your family and you can't get rid of it, you're going to have to deal with it. What you don't want him to have, baby-proof it. Put everything on the ceiling.
Yes, sir, Father. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I love you.
Love you too.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
Yes. I'm a musical theater person, and recently started working in an after-school arts program with middle schoolers. But I came up under 98 under Minister Lewis, and I ended up burning that particular segment of my life up because I felt there was something was missing, and I fell out the ranks for a while. And now that I bear witness that you are a line person, and I believe I was with you before I was introduced to you by Mr. Assistant Titus, and he's doing an excellent job here in Raleigh. And my question is that why did I have to go through that period to get to this point here?
Well, Islam, it's not necessarily that you had to go through it. It's just that you did, and you seek the best from it. I have just really just started making myself known. And the reason why I speak about Minister Lewis is because most of the brothers that has came to him to follow him, they are showing at least an effort to want to be right. So if they're showing that effort, he calls for 1 million men, means almost 2 million show up, just men. So it's like the men were saying, yeah, we want God. We want this. So I wasn't there in a way where you all can say, oh, we know where to go now, because he, as the representative, refused to point you to where he was supposed to be leading you to. He didn't do it. So most of you all have shown your dedication in search of peace for your soul. It's going there. Because he at least had the nerve to speak out against the oppressor. While he was speaking out against the oppressor, you didn't stop to look. He's the oppressor. But it didn't look that way at that time. Now, there's been enough time elapsed or passed where you can make a judgment. Because I have been out here long enough now where people are starting to hear. He's saying, what? What? I saw him on TV. Where did this man come from? To me, I've been here over 10 years, physically. So now, what you do is seeing me. This should take you away from what's holding you from me and allow you to come. And at the same time, this is something else that's going to take place. Everyone that said, all praises due to Allah for the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, just chant. Now, since he allowed you to carry razors, guns, all the other kind of stuff, you're going to be pulling that on him if I don't say it. Because what has happened, things has gotten worse. And there is no doorway out that he's provided. Matter of fact, he's putting you in the room with the lion and locked the door. So now you're saying, if I could just get my hands on it. But we put him in such a way, that it would be even pitiful if you did. He's a sick man. He's in the book. He shall die day by day by the reason of his bowels falling out. You see? It's there. However, the rehearsing of the message and the remembering of the knowledge that we gave him and the hypocritical way that he is putting it out has enchanted people, mesmerized, hypnotized, until you begin to see me. And I remove all hypnotism that's been placed on you, just from the mere truth. And if you go back and listen to any of the tapes that I've made concerning him, nobody, not even the LDL or whatever it is, the Jews, the ADL, they don't talk about him like me. And, they claim they ain't scared of no black people. They come get you. And I put the challenge out to them. You all saying all this kind of stuff about me, what you going to do and all this kind of stuff. Come do it. Matter of fact, you don't have to come. Call me and let me know where you're going to be, and I will meet you by myself. And if you don't want to be seen, I'll make it in the alley where it's real dark. To make sure whatever you plan to do, nobody see you. Just be us. Nobody called me upon it yet. Maybe they're wise. If you want to see if I'm really alive. But see, that's what has happened. So I'm partial to the brothers in that sense. They made a showing that they do want to be right. However, they've taken on the feeling, the personalism of Lewis towards me. And they want to make me as though I'm the villain and I'm Mr. Nothing and I'm trying to take something from him that he built. He ain't built nothing. He robbed you. The righteous. And it reads that in chapter 13, Ezekiel. He made the hearts of the righteous sad by lies. And he strengthened the hand of the wicked by promising them life. And tell me he ain't did it. Me and Brother Paul, we're sad in that respect. Is that right, Brother Minister? The righteous, we're righteous. We're sad because we see our brothers struggling. They don't have to. And they're doing it in his name. So that makes us sad. And then he takes Ben Shavis, the wicked, prop him up. Strengthen the hand of the wicked. The man is doing it, but y'all can't see it. And that's it. That has been a constant. Now, when he was Farrakhan, that wasn't happening. That was not happening. Farrakhan was laying it out there. When he decided to be, Farrakhan left and he decided to be Lewis, downhill. But I was even merciful in that. When I sent the messenger to him and relieved Farrakhan, Farrakhan left. Boom. And then I sent him back the next day with Lewis. Then I went to see Lewis. Before he started to make shameful moves on his own, Allah himself went to talk to him. And no, you don't want to do that. This is what has happened. This is what is happening. And this is what's going to happen. And he was all excited. Hugged me and kissed me and everything. I said, this man, well, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to see if he followed up on what he said. I love you, Brother Royall. I love you too. Then he put out the thing because I went and told him. You listening? Yes, sir. When I was there, I told him, I said, Brother Minister, the scientists that the messenger spoke about, that you're familiar with, ones that they said that they protect the messenger, there's always two with him, whatnot. I've had them, or they came and visited me. And they carried me around the whole universe on a created ship. Not made, created. And they took me on that ship, even inside the sun. I ain't tell nobody that but him. In the nation. Next thing I got it back, they was making all kind of fun of me. That I went to his house and told him that I went to the sun at night. And Baldhead College, which is dead now, spread it all over the nation. Tried to make it like, they don't pay no attention to him. He's a nut. He said he went to the sun at night. Had to come from the minister because I didn't tell nobody else. You see? So now, everybody's over there with an ailing man. If God loved me the way he's showing love to him, I don't want it. I don't want it. Anything that's on me that's natural, I want it to stay that way. If I die, let me die with it. I don't want him to reroute my urinary tract. I don't want him to take out my anus. Let it stay intact. I want to, if I must die, let me die the death of a Muslim. All parts intact. You see? However, the hypnotism. So the only way that I can have any kind of patience with you all that's with him is because you have showed an interest in wanting to be right. But now he has to pay for all of the wrong direction that he's caused you to go into and mock me. But I already know you're coming. And you know the place to go. I'm still a young man. I'm just 61. I can still go, you know. And it don't have nothing to do with love. You can't love the minister more than me. If I didn't want you to say love the man, hell, I'd just kill him. It just wouldn't be no more. You couldn't stop it. I don't care how much you say, well, you can't stop a damn thing. If you do come to stop it, I'll take you with it. 2 birds in 1 stone. Simple as that. You might say, well, he's talking all bad, never, I'll do this, I'll do that. Yeah, that's like the people, you see the most slavery movies. Man, if I was back there then, I'll jump up and, yeah, right. In other words, you all are extremely powerful. And the same thing with Baldhead Khalid. I call him that so you all know who I'm talking about. Not that I'm making mockery. I sent the secretary, picked him up, brought him to where I was at. I didn't go see him, I brought him. He was going to the convention center. Had his bodyguards with him and whatnot. We stepped right in, picked him up, put him in the van. Bodyguards didn't know where he was at. Right down in Dallas, Texas. Brought him to the home where I was at. He came in there, with his leg. My wife gave him a chair so he could prop his leg up. He'd been shot in the leg. And I got on him then. I said, because he called my wives a bunch of bees and all that kind of stuff. I ain't got, he just was crazy. So I asked him, I said, this stuff, all this stuff you put out whatnot is kind of comical. So I told him about himself and whatnot. You think he's a big warrior. When I told him, you're nothing yet. Nothing. You think you are. And all the idiots that's following you make you think you are. But you're nothing yet. If you don't get with me, you ain't going to make it. And matter of fact, this convention you're going to is your last convention. That's your going away party. If you don't come with me, everything's going to be downhill for you. He said, well, what about the minister? I hear you talking about it. I said, what about it? You talking about the minister? I said, yeah, I'm talking about it. So what? And I don't just talk about a person. I share the truth about it. So it ain't just talk. Well, what you plan on do to the minister? I said, well, what would you do? He said, I didn't ask you. What would you plan on doing to him? I said, not what you plan. You think I would do what you do? Would do 100% greedy, full-fledged, all the way, bred and born, Allah. However, with that being said, I'm for you. I'm not against you. I didn't come here to do nothing to the black man. I come to save you. However, I'm not going to let you come up and try to, try to kill me, and I'm just going to laugh at you. I'm going to let you know you tried to do harm to the wrong man. I'm not going to kill you. And unless it's something that's very urgent. I'm not going to kill you because death really is too sweet. You know, death is so common, you know, it happens every day. If I'm going to do something to you, you're going to be living, so you're going to bear witness. Royall, Solomon, the prepared one, is gone. And then you might go. You see? So, you know, it wouldn't be no such thing as an offense if God couldn't be offended. Lewis has offended and caused all of you all that's with him to offend you. And you don't have the right. All the thoughts that you have concerning me are just thoughts. If you go and really get into it, it will change your thoughts into knowing. You wouldn't think it, you would know it. And for people to think that I don't have no one with me that loves me. Everybody loves Farrakhan, but nobody loves me. That's crazy. I got people coming up all the time telling me, I love you, Father. And they be saying it for real. I hear them telling the minister, love you, minister. You ought to love me. I say, man, it ain't real. It's not real. Because when you show that kind of passion, you don't just spurt it out like that. You don't do it. And plus, how many meetings do you go to where he allow you to come ask him questions? How many times does he share the mic with you? See? Every time I speak, I share the mic. Get offended if you don't take it. You see, I'm not going to keep on talking. Yes, sir.
One more question, Father. I'm currently living in a situation around Christian family members, and we have one gentleman that is trying to recover from heroin addiction. I have two questions. One, I sign a lot of things out with a number system that you have blessed me with, and all praise be to Allah. And Father, what my question is that how is it that I find that I get along with people when I go to church with them, and as if they're saying, well, we got one of those Muslims now in our church. Is Satan rejoicing over this? And is that behavior because I'm in the theater? It deals with history and imitation. And since this is new, is there any real purpose for the theater?
Oh, yes, sir. The theater is, all of us are actors to a certain degree. However, the theater is extremely important, especially if the person is theatrical. That's how the minister hooked most of it. A good actor. However, if you would just speak to a person on the phone, or if you speak, it's a brother that's with us, he's named James 94, Brother Stutters. When I first got with the brother, I said, man, he's taking up quite a bit of my time. However, he would explain things to make it like I was at a theater in my mind. So by the time he finished, it was laid out so crystal clear I could see it. And he made me be patient because there was time between every word. I don't know how many of you all are here that are used to the radio program. You know, even when they had Amos and Andy on the radio. Like I said, I'm 61. So, you know, it was going off when I came out. However, it made you create that theater in your thinking because you couldn't see it. You know, they come with it, they describe the wind and it blew, you know, and then the leaves floated down. They describe everything, you know, you listen and you were intent, man, boy. And it got the time passed so quick. And I know I used to drive the trucks and I used to listen to these stories at night on the TV, on the radio on the truck. And I'd be driving, and I get to where I'm going, man, I said, well, I'll be just as refreshed because that story I was listening to had my mind where they were. So theater, yes. We need it, yes. Do we have it? Yes. Do we need you? Yes. We got everything in heaven. But it's so minute, it needs to be magnified. So if you are a theater, hurry up. Hurry up. Not only are we going to produce the building where we can give the theatrical plays or dramas or whatnot, we want the ones that actually can do that. So that the children that go, they can take their minds and go out and explore the things and whatnot. And you're doing this. So absolutely, yes, sir. Sometimes I like to get into a little theatrics myself. And we're just explaining things to you as to what is on the agenda. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? You impregnate your wife, and the time that you do it, the feeling, it takes about 3 months for it to wear off. Oh, you got more than one wife. And you don't have to worry about if your wife cheats on you, because the baby can never be born until the father of the child calls for the child. So she can't get pregnant by somebody else and say it's yours, because you would never be able to call the baby forth, but she's still pregnant. So for her to become unpregnant, just sit and watch. And the one that calls it forth, that's the one that did it. You ain't even got to ask her. Did you go and cheat on somebody? You ain't even have to ask. Of course, when it gets to be that way, we do that. But just to see that, can you see that? Can you see the safety zone in that? Can you see what type of oneness one has to be for that to actually take place? It won't be like where, you have intercourse with your wife, and the next day you're ready again. If you like me, you're too busy. You're going to need it to last for a while. You say, baby, are you ready again? Well, not yet. You be gone for 2 or 3 weeks. How you making it? I'm still running on it pretty good. It works. However, until you get into that part where I'm talking about, until you get into that kind of thinking, you can always be tied up. You have a problem with that. Got it? Yes, sir. Well, it looks like Brother Minister's been standing long as me. I don't know if his feet hurting. We're supposed to be, yes, ma'am, you have a question? I think we're supposed to be eating here. You all are? Do we have to pay for it? Because I ain't got no money. We got to pay for it. Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
At the most recent celebration, you shared with us that the Quran opens up with a question that only you have been able to answer. And you asked the audience if anyone knew what that question was, and no one responded. So you encouraged us to go home and do some investigation. And I did that, and I was only able to, of course I saw Fatiha and preface and the table of contents. I would like clarification on what that question is and what your answer is to the question.
Well, I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It speaks about the origin of infinity. The origin of infinity. That's the clue.
Okay, I'll go back and do some more investigation.
Well, if you want, if you're unable to find it, well, that might be cheap. I have an ambassador that hasn't been active for some time. From me to the Arab-speaking people and Quran-reading people, whether you be from Arabia or right here. I have an ambassador. Call him up. Just call the 800 number and ask to speak to the ambassador of the United Nations of Islam.
question. Recently I listened to a tape in which you were speaking on money, man, and mankind. And now that I know the true distinction between man and mankind, I was just curious, when the Caucasians, so-called, went to the moon, is there any hidden meaning behind that statement, one step for man, one giant leap for mankind?
Well, yes, ma'am, if he went. The giant step for mankind, he's saying, well, for them, that's,
yes, sir.
Hey, that's tremendous. And a giant step for man, well, the mankind had to use the mathematics of the man to ensure that it could even be done. But he didn't do it. This is something. Did you all look at that movie I was talking about last night? Crazy as hell. Get the movie. Crazy as hell. Go to Blockbuster. It's all a black cast. Most of the stars are black. And it's a movie worth watching. And Satan comes on there and he lets him know he's Satan. And he's the master of lies. How can Satan prove that he's a master if he don't have someone to do it for him? How can I prove that I'm alive if I don't have somebody that I have reproduced like myself? So, man says, yes, we went to the moon. Oh, really? If you went to the moon, why are you building a space station in space? Why don't you build it on the moon? You ain't got to worry about docking up to it. Hitting it too hard. Stepping out in space trying to repair it. You ain't going to do that. It'll be on land just like it's land here. And you're still in space with no gravity. Ain't no difference. So, if I want to be fooled, lie to me. If I want you to really think that I'm great, then I'll tell you a lie. If I'm the devil. I've gone to the moon. Look, see? I even got my cameraman up there taking pictures. If that answers your question.
Yes, sir, it does. Thank you.
That's it? Well, I guess it's time for everybody to chow down. I do thank you all for coming. One thing I'm realizing every day that makes me a little bit more humbler is that it appears that I'm wanted more and more. That's a somewhat satisfying reality. So to want me, it must be because of what I'm saying and doing, not necessarily me, the person. They but one of me. So if that's the case, I see it as we're being successful. It's just a matter of a few days. We can be took over for the black man. Like I say, gird up your loins, really pull up your pants. We got some work to do. And sisters, you see your man doing this, help him. Let go all that doubt you have because you judging him what he used to be. One thing about the black man, he went into the mud, he can go into the mud and get up and clean himself off and look like, and matter of fact, didn't remove the mud hole. So don't misjudge what I will let you have. Okay? I'm going to let you.